Welcome to LNP Renewable System Generator. Today we are going to discuss structured cabling basics part 2. If you have missed part 1, please subscribe to our channel. In our channel we had created a playlist structured cabling basics part 1 to 3 English, so that whatever thing that you have missed, it will be easy for you to look into it. You will get a continuation about the discussion that we are making regarding the structured cabling. So in our discussions we might be using so many icons, telephonic diagrams, and also we might be using so many acronyms. So when listening to the video, if you have any sort of doubts, kindly please refer to this part, so it will be easy for you to get a clarity regarding the acronyms and the short forms that we have referred in our discussions. So in part 2, what are the things that we are going to discuss? So what is horizontal cabling? Okay, what are the guidelines that we need to follow when we are planning for a horizontal cabling? Okay, why fiber optic cables are used in structured cabling? Okay, what are the different methodologies in horizontal cabling, especially when you are planning for structured cabling? And also, what are the TIA and EIA standard guidelines that need to be followed when you are planning the different methodologies of horizontal cabling, especially what are the, and also we are going to learn what are the tools that we are going to use in structured cabling as well. So as I told earlier, okay, horizontal cable is a cable that travels between the horizontal cable and the work area outlet. So it means the main work area will be a telephone, as well as you will be having a connection for PCs as well as the printers also. Okay, so if you run a cable from a horizontal cross connect to the work area outlet, that cable is referred as a horizontal cable. Maximum 90 meters or 296 feet you can use. Okay, this is a, you can use either UTP cables, or sometimes you can use a fiber multi-mode fiber cables also for the horizontal cable connection. Okay, and first in the 4 rules that you need to follow, okay, the 4 guidelines that you need to follow when you're pulling the horizontal cabling is that cable should always run parallel to the walls. That is the first rule. Second rule is that cable should never be placed diagonally across a ceiling. That is the second rule, because it is a horizontal cable. If you are placing diagonally across the ceiling, it is a very difficult to access it. So it should not cross over, or it should not run diagonally across the ceiling. That is the second important guideline that you need to follow. Third is that the cabling path should be most direct path with the fewest number of turns. There should not be multiple turns, and cable should not be placed directly on the top of a ceiling tiles. It means diagonally also you should not cross the ceiling, and also okay, you should not place directly on the top of a ceiling tiles also. This is the important guidelines that you need to follow whenever you are pulling the cables for horizontals. So next is that, so when we get to look into the subsystems of the structured cabling, this backbone cabling is very much important. Any cable that is installed between the main cross connect and the telephonic room is known as the backbone cabling. Okay, so backbone cabling includes telephonic rooms on the same floor. So in the same floor we will be having main connect, intermediate connect. Okay, so we will be having a connection from the main connect to the intermediate connect, and also intermediate connect to the horizontal connect. Okay, and if you are going for a vertical connections or risers between the telephonic rooms on the different floors, okay, such as main cross connect to intermediate cross connect cabling, okay, the cabling between the telephonic room and the demarcation point, okay, and the cables which are run between the buildings or inter-building cablings in a multi-building campuses. It means we are defining what are the backbone cables. Simple. Any cabling which runs between the main cross connect and the telephonic room is a backbone cable. Okay, backbone cable. And in the same floor you might have many main cross connect to intermediate cross connect, as well as intermediate cross connect to horizontal cross connects also. But these are running between the telephonic rooms, so these are also referred as a backbone cables. Okay, and also in the vertical cross connections, if you are running a cable from main cross connect to the intermediate cabling, that is also referred as a backbone cable. And also the cables which run between the telephonic rooms and the demarcation points are also referred as a backbone cables. And if you are running different cables between the buildings or inter-building cable connections in the multiple campuses, those are also referred as a backbone cabling. And most important thing that you need to follow for backbone cabling is that the first rule is that the maximum distance of backbone cabling should be in between, okay, say for example you are running from a horizontal connect to the intermediate connect, it should be 300 meters, maximum 984 feet you can use. Okay, say for example if you are running a backbone cable between the intermediate cross connect and the main cross connect, up to 2700 meters you can use the maximum distance. So this is a simple overview of how a cable has been established from the service provider to the main cross connect, from the main cross connect how it is getting established to the intermediate cross connect and the horizontal cross connect. And first, next rule is that we are often using this fiber optics as a backbone. Why we are using the fiber optic? There are three important reasons. That is the reason why we are using the fiber optic. First foremost reason is that the optical fibers are impervious to the electrical noises and radio frequencies interfaces. That is the first reason we are using the optical fiber cables as a backbone. Second is that these fiber cables does not conduct current that can cause ground loops. Third rule is that this fiber optic system has a high bandwidth and can work at very high speeds. So these are the three important reasons. This is the reason why we are using the fiber optic cable as a backbone. And then, so as I told earlier in our discussions, we will be trying to learn about the different methodologies of the horizontal cabling. In the horizontal cabling methodologies, we have two different methods. One is the multi-user telecommunication outlet assemblies, that is MUTO. Okay, multi-user telecommunication outlet assemblies. So this is how it looks like. Okay, if you are planning in a horizontal cabling methodology, this is the first method you can follow. Multi-user telecommunication outlet assemblies. And the second method is that consolidation points. Okay, so this is how the consolidation points. So as you can see here, when you watch out the major difference, this is the work area. Okay, in between the work area, okay, you are running the horizontal cables, but you have a telecommunication room. But between the telecommunication room, the horizontal cabling, you have a most important point called consolidation point. But in case of MUTO, what is there? You have a work area. From the work area, directly you are connecting, running your cables, horizontal cables to the telecommunication room. That is the biggest difference. Mostly for the office environment, we will be following this horizontal cabling methodologies, that is multi-user telecommunication outlet assemblies, MUTO, or CPs, that is consolidated points. So we have a standard guidelines that we should follow, especially when you establish the multi-user telecommunication outlets. At least one multi-user telecommunication outlet is needed for a furniture clusters. Maximum 12 work areas can be served by each multi-user telecommunication outlets. Okay, and the patch cords at the work area should be labeled on both the ends with unique identification numbers. The maximum patch cord length that you can follow for multi-user telecommunication outlet is that 22 meters, or if you are in feet, that is 72.2 feet only you should follow. This is the standard TIA EIA 56B1 standard that we need to follow when you are planning for MUTOs. So as I told you, for the consolidated points, also we have a standard, that is TIA/EIA 569 standard. As per this guidelines, at least one consolidated point is needed for the future cluster, and each consolidated point should serve a maximum of 12 work areas. And third most important thing is that the maximum patch cord length should be 5 meters, that is 16.4 feet. So, and also since we were discussing so many TIA and EIA stated, what is this TIA? TIA is nothing but the Telecommunication Industrial Association. EIA is nothing but the Electronic Industries Association. These are the two trade associations that develops and publish a series of standards that covering the structured voice and data wiring for LANs. Okay, we have structured cabling different standards, TIA EIA 568B.1. These are the standards that we need to follow for commercial building telecommunications, especially the general requirements. For the balanced twisted pair cabling, we need to follow B.2. For the optical fiber cabling components, we need to follow B.3. For the cabling standards, generally you can use B standards. And for commercial building standard for telecommunication pathway and the spaces, you can follow TIA EIA 569A standards. Okay, and for residential and the light commercial telecommunication wiring standard, you can follow TIA EIA 570A. If you are planning for administration standard for telecommunication infrastructure of the commercial buildings, you can use TIA 606 standards. And if you're going for commercial building grounding and bonding requirement for telecommunication, you can use TIA 607 standards. So these are the common tools which are using for stripping purposes. We will be using this tool especially for stripping the structured cables. If you're going for cutting purposes, we might be using these tools, and for the multiple impacting, okay, we will be using this tool, and especially for impact them, to pair them, okay, to pair the cables with the terminals, we are using this impact tools, okay. And also for troubleshooting and all, now we might be using this diagnostic tool. Modular tool we also refer as a banjo. It is used to provide access to the individual wires inside the telecommunication outlet or a jack, okay. And also we have a stud sensors. So this sensor locates the wooden studs and joists behind the walls. This tool helps the installer to determine the best location to drill or a saw when installing outlets or the raceways. And also even for installation we have using so many tools, support tools. One is the measuring tool, fish tapes also we are using for cable pulling, and also if there is a very big cable roll that you run easily, so you can use this cable tree tools especially during the cable installation. Thank you so much. Please subscribe and press the bell icon. If you want to know more and learn more, you can contact us. If you like the video, please share to your friends. We as LNP Renewable System Integrator, we are providing PLC programming training for Siemens, Allen Bradley and Delta PLCs. And if you are really interested to work in GCC countries like Qatar, Oman, Saudi, Dubai, especially in building management system, building automation system, structured cabling, CCTV camera system, access control system, electric vehicle design, access control system, and MEP coordination related works, you can contact us. We are providing. So once you got training, you had a very good opportunities to work in GCC countries, Qatar, Oman, Saudi, Dubai, Kuwait, especially in metro stations, multi-storage buildings, airports and seaports as well. Okay. If there is no EB power, if you want to establish a light using a solar, we are providing solar DC light system supports as well. You might have an agriculture farms. If you want to protect your crops from the intrusion of the wild animals, instead of going for normal fencing, you can use solar electrical fencing. We are providing them as a kit. We as a LNP Renewable System, we are providing solar on-grid, off-grid hybrid applications, solar street lights, solar pump services, design, installation, consultancy, training supports also. We are also providing access control system, electrical technologies, MEP related courses along with the certification. So if you are really interested to work in the automation industry, especially in the building services industry, MEP industry, you can contact us. We are providing services related to it, trainings related to it. You will get certified from us. Thank you so much.